Welcome to Inquiry into Self. So, I'm continuing on this topic of awakening, discovering this infinite that we are, while having a body that's highly sensitive. And I'm really using the category of a highly sensitive person that's defined many places. So I don't have to define it here. It's generally people who have um, a lot of sensitivity, usually in a particular area, can be auditorial or it can be to light, it can be to energy waves, it can be emotionally, all kinds of things. So, what we are is this space, the everything, and it has this natural interest because it's erupting as all of these experiences where these nodes of experience in the web of manifestation that is one perfect continual unfolding with no individual causes, really. It's one erupting. There's all of it causes all of it in every moment. So if there's anything good coming right now, any love showing up, any joy showing up, any beauty showing up, it's all being expressed together with everything else. And I mentioned before that we can see this web as it's rippling, having nodes that experience contraction at one moment, which can feel, particularly intense, maybe painful, or ultra expansion, which can feel very disorienting, lost, alone, those kinds of experiences. And we have a comfort zone, generally, as humans. Um, so, while yes, being just the spaciousness and allowing these experiences to come and go is a wonderful practice. But there's also these other things that I found helpful that I'm going to share here. I already shared several in the first video. Now I'm going to share something else. So, this is more about what I'm doing with my physical energy system. And the things I can do are shield, close, or open. Shield, close, and open. So I'm going to go through those here. There's other things I can do, which I'm also going to go into, but this is kind of like the main thing. First, yes, we are in this web, and as energies come to us, they can flow right through us. That's, to me, actually, being open is the easiest of the three. You can just stay so open that nothing sticks. There's the moment of intense contraction and then it's over. Or the moment of intense ungroundedness, lostness, whatever, expansion, disorientation, and then it's over. So being ultra, ultra open is like, I would guess for me, the easiest thing. But, you know, there's times when we're in a particularly intense environment where it's just bombarding, and we're tired of feeling it all. So there's other options. Shielding is one that we often think we're doing, but we're actually closing. At least that's my experience. To learn to shield took a lot more. Closing is instinctual. So shielding, in my case, what I found to be particularly helpful, what just popped up for me was a green tetrahedron, Merkaba, a green tetrahedron, and I can just feel myself inside the green tetrahedron, and then around it is this crystalline, it has, 356, some huge number of facets. So it's not perfectly round. It has facets, but it's a lot of them. So the green tetrahedron is smaller, and I'm inside of that. And then this crystalline, multifaceted, not a sphere actually, because it's faceted, but kind of like a sphere, is outside of that. And I just feel so nourished. as I just rest inside of those forms. And somehow it just creates this great cushion for anything going on the outside. So that's a nice way of shielding. And then I can just feel that anything impacting can just flow around, flow under, flow over. Anything else can just be, not going in directly. So that's a option, is the shielding. Closing is, the thing we kind of usually learn first as a baby. We're very open as babies. You touch, one part of our body and the whole body feels it. It's like sensation just travels easily. But, when it's something painful, it tends to be a little helpful to learn to compartmentalize. Okay, well, if I'm burnt on my face, I don't have to feel it in my hands. I can compartmentalize my head or my fingers or my toes, whatever. And that's the beginning of the process of closing when we learn to compartmentalize. Um, so, like, when I was having 4 hours of pain every night for several years, the compartmentalizing was the instinctual thing. I'd kind of be a little less mobile in around the area of pain. I actually tried to expand it. It wasn't so much tightening it, it was expanding, but it was less mobile, a lot less mobile around the area of pain. And eventually, I actually found moving was very helpful. I could even do some vigorous movement in the area of pain, really pumping my belly in and out, for example. So, but that was a type of closing. I was trying to protect, so I was creating less movement. So that's a type of closing. Any kind of resistance, wishing that I wasn't having this experience, trying to put blame, trying to analyze why is that person doing this to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is my body so whatever? It's interesting now. I'm entering menopause, and lo and behold, new sensitivities have arisen, and I can feel that old habit. Why is my finger doing that? Why is my whatever doing this? And if there's any resistance to it, then with it comes this contraction. Contraction actually makes the system stiffer, and whatever's painful reverberates worse. Closing is the most painful response. It's the most instinctual, but generally for me ends up being the most painful, because it just keeps reverberating. Why is this happening? It keeps happening. This pain is just won't go out to the system. It's like stuck in here. And so if I'm resisting it in any way, feeling like I shouldn't be like this, or the person who caused it shouldn't be like that, this situation shouldn't be happening, that resistance causes the closing in. And now the experience cannot pass through. The experience actually is getting locked inside as a memory, as an ongoing experience that can be re-triggered. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The way my body responded to various different, even things that were sexual at first, was pain. So anything initially, new sensation our body can register as pain because it can be very intense. So it can feel overwhelming, it can feel very hot, it can feel like burning, it can feel all kinds of things. And I had to learn how to get the sensation to flow more openly through my body so I wasn't having pain, just in various things sexually. Our whole system can feel overstimulated. And when it's overstimulated, we try to control the stimulation, we lock down on it, and now it's like this more intense sensation because we've locked down on it, we're clenching around it. So it turns out opening allows the sensation to come in and go out. Now, when we don't want it to happen and we're saying, why is this happening to me? Can you feel, why is this happening to me? There's a constriction, a closing in on it. At least that's how it's been for me. Maybe it's different for you, but check and see. Instead, if there's this belongs, I don't know why yet, but this belongs, it's not going to be forever. This belongs. I'm okay. And it takes practice to find the part of me that is open to the idea of it all belonging, the part of me that actually is not getting harmed. And I'd say that many of my other videos do allude to those kinds of practices, so I'm not going to go into depth here. But simply that well practice of the well of compassion and the well of attention, the well of action, those are ways of tuning in to that which notices that maybe this belongs and maybe I'm still okay. And then the opening, oh gosh, I mean, really, it's amazing what intensity can hit the system and flow right out. Huge amounts of intensity. If I'm totally open, can come in and come out. I mean, I've had, well, um, somebody who seemed a little out of control sexually who was using my body. And as I was so open, the intensity just came in and went out. And the situation ended, and that was the end of it. All the intensity just comes in and comes out. I didn't have any meaning about it, meaning towards them, towards myself. It just was innocence. Innocence. Just, there didn't have to be a rule. There didn't have to be a reason. There didn't have to be an explanation. I knew that there had been a place in me that was curious. So I just tuned into the part of me that had been curious and let that be the cause. That was enough of a cause for me. I didn't need to explain it at all. This infinite is curious. There was the explanation. And with no other anything, there was just this openness. Intense experience can just openly pass right through and be over with, done with. There's nothing remaining. There's no belief. No belief about it. Okay, so that's the experience of total openness. Like I said, the shielding is another option. Openness is great. Closing just exacerbates the pain, in my experience. And talking about this topic, everything can be upside down, right? There's no absolutes here. There's exceptions in every area. So yes, whatever exception you're thinking of, it may be true, or may be practical, may be helpful. So I'm just sharing something in case you haven't tried it and want to try it, for another consideration. All right, so where does joy play a role in all of this intense experience? Well, there's not this stoic emptiness that we are. It's not dead. It's not purely logical. Otherwise, why would it be interested in all this color and aliveness and vibrance and creation and emotion and love and tenderness? Yeah, it's just too sweet to say that this that we are is immune to all that. This that we are is interested. But how can it be interested in this thing that our physical body takes to be so overwhelming? Well, um, a dog is a really great example here. Not perfect, definitely not. Lots of ways it doesn't fit. But when you think of a dog, it does. They jump out of the car. They don't know where in the world they are, and they're excited. They are smelling everything. Things that look like disgusting smells. They're exploring. There's just this openness to experience, and it's interesting, fascinated. Well, what we are has a certain element in my experience of that, and if my home base is I'm a peaceful human, then there's a up and a down from that, right? But that's not my home base. My home base is I'm nothing. I'm empty. You know, in meditation, that's the ground, right? Nothing. Literally silence. Literally space or emptiness, potential before there's even space. Pure potential. And you can feel it's wonderful to abide there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. But there's something that is actually interested in experience. There's something that gets us up out of our meditation and wants to engage. Well, if I'm the nothing, then any experience is interesting. Now, if I'm adding pain, lots of times, pain is a warning that I've taken a misinterpretation. Pain is an opportunity to check and see, have I kind of taken this out of perspective? So pain is helpful. I'm not saying that we should ignore our interest in reducing pain. Our interest in reducing pain is really helpful. And as experiences show up and we become curious to learn and explore in them, this that we are is interested in the learning, interested in the experience. There's curiosity. And it turns out often there's joy. Joy because this experience, okay, let's start with a really great experience. Most creative thing. You just wrote a poem, wrote a song, took a photograph, saw something beautiful. And there's the exhilaration, right? That did not happen because this node popped it up. That happened because this whole web erupted. And I got to be the little fount of poetry. I got to be the little fount of song. It just so happened. The whole web is at all moments somewhere expressing love or expressing beauty or expressing creativity. Who knows when this little node gets to be it? It's a gift of the whole web. It's a gift of the whole web that there gets to be life right here. It's a gift of the whole web. And what all the web is experiencing in order for this to happen here, that I get to take a walk out at the ocean any day I want, or whatever it is, that I get to go sit by that gracious tree any day I want. This whole web, all of the parts going through everything they're going through, and there are some parts going through a lot of pain at the moment, all of the parts are contributing for this aliveness right here. If it weren't for all the web having the experiences they're having right now, this aliveness here would not be happening. So there's just a gratitude to the whole web, a gratitude to all the experiences, a gratefulness for this grace and a tenderness that I get to be here. A tenderness, especially that sometimes I get to be an expression of love. It's so sweet. Or an expression of creativity that's so sweet. I'm just so grateful. That's where the joy comes from. The joy is not from particularly getting what I want. The joy is just getting to be me, because this is the gift of the web to this node right now, is to get to be this experience. That's where the joy comes from. Now, one last thing is the energy body. I find it so helpful to tune into my energy body, this sense of a glowing, vibrating, buzzing aliveness, out of which the physical seems to come. It's kind of the mediator. There's the emptiness, and before the emptiness comes into form, it actually, in my experience, comes into this energetic flow, and I can feel it as the energy body, and then that comes into the physical. And you can divide that up into multiple steps, but that's very generic. Of feeling that energy body, being present in the energy body, is a very essence tapping into experience. Just being present. There's an openness that happens. There's a aliveness. There's a wellness. Just feeling this energy body. However it is, certainly not just tied to this body, that there's a, vibration. You can just feel it if you just hold your hands here and pay attention to this space between your hands. In time, you start to feel, especially if you bring your hands closer and near, you feel that there's a ball of energy there. That's derived from this energetic flow that we are. And just being aware of that through the whole day is something that's really nourishing to sensitivities. This whole web is nourishing. In fact, I like to say I like to go at the speed where I can still tune into the nourishment of this web of all manifestation. It's a constant nourishment of being. And if I'm too much in the thought world, or going too fast, or filled with resistance, or believing some idea about my inferiority or whatever it is, then I'm putting something in the way of being able to feel this support. So I go at the pace, don't think so fast, don't put myself down so fast, don't run so fast that I can't also be noticing this supportive web. Okay, that's really helpful for me. But again, I just want to ground us back out to what we are is this infinite being that's not harmed. And there's access to that. At some points we may not be noticing that. That's the experience that's ordained for this moment. Every experience, regardless of how we're feeling, is ordained for this moment. We're never off track. And as we learn to explore and open and use all kinds of tools, here's just a selection, we can actually get to experience what we are in a more intimate, experiential way. Okay, thanks so much. And I just want to honor all the people who are highly sensitive. I plan to bring a little more offerings in that realm. What we are includes all the ways our body shows up, all the ways. And it's a gift to the planet that we've got so many sensitive people who are bringing in an additional energy that's bringing forth an intense move into peace and an intense move into understanding and an intense move into gentleness. So it's a gift, though it may not always feel like that. Thank you, thank you.